Hello, I'm Rob and I'm the new Principal Conductor of TPO.
I'm Dan and I have been for the last 3 years the Principal Conductor of the People's Orchestra. So I've really enjoyed being the Principal Conductor of TPO for the last 3 years, but a few months ago I made the decision based on a huge live event change in December last year when my beautiful daughter Bethan Olivia Watson was born. I decided that she was so wonderful I wanted to spend a little bit more time with her. So it's been a really hard decision, but family time is important, and I'm so pleased with the years that I spent with TPO. It's time for me to step aside and let a new maestro take my place.
Have you rehearsed that?
No.
That's great.
From the heart. Your turn.
I'm really excited to take on TPO. I really enjoy conducting. I really love working with orchestras, particularly community ensembles, and it's a new challenge for me. It's a scope and scale of project that I've not taken on before. So I'm looking forward to making some great music, and I'm looking forward to meeting some new wonderful people and doing some more fun stuff.
Have you got any advice for him?
I knew this was coming. So it's a funny thing, a conductor's relationship with an orchestra, because to a certain extent there's a lot of time when you're just getting to know each other and how you work well together. And I would advise that you really focus in particular on the next few months in getting to know the orchestra, getting to know what their strengths are, getting to know where you might need to give them a little bit of a nudge and a little bit of a push, a bit of persuasion perhaps. But getting to know them, I think, is the first step towards having an ongoing, fruitful relationship.
What have you enjoyed most about working with TPO?
There's too much to choose from, really. I can talk about it on a number of different levels. In terms of the orchestra, I can certainly talk about how welcoming the personnel, the musicians, the instrumentalists are as a family. You really feel like you're part of a community. In terms of the behind the scenes people, like Matt and Elle, who are helping out in this filming today, they work so hard in presenting a show, and all the behind the scenes work in preparing for all the aspects of the show in terms of the lighting and the sound and the presentation and the website, and that's another level. And the third level is working with Sarah and the management behind the People's Orchestra and how dedicated they all are to the cause of the orchestra. So it's not just a single answer question. Mm-hmm. It's a multifaceted organisation with lots of great things about it.
What about challenges the orchestra's presented?
Come on, give me an easy time. Can I have a think about that for a second? Yeah. Challenges, what kind of challenges?
Any particularly difficult corners of repertoire or forces that you found difficult to come by, or I don't know, answer it as many levels as you need to.
I think in fairness that on a concert day, as I've already said, there are lots of different facets to the orchestra, which is its strength, but that can also be when the difficulties arrive, because on a concert day then all of those different facets need to fit together like a jigsaw. And so if you've got an orchestra of, I don't know, 60 on stage or something, who might not be able to see their lights, their music because of the lighting, but also you know that the team behind it have worked so hard in creating the beautiful visual aspect of the concert, as well as we work on the musical aspect of the concerts. I think one of the challenges is, as you're the conductor, you're stood in front of everybody, and on concert day you have to be diplomatic and try and keep everybody from punching each other's lights out. But it's the strength. It's also a challenge, not a weakness, but a challenge. But then when we come with a working pattern for that evening's concert and everything's in place, then it's rewarding. it's one of the most rewarding things. So it's worth it.
Are there any corners of repertoire you wish that you'd explored with the People's Orchestra that you never got round to?
No, not at all. Did everything I wanted to do.
I was hoping for
We're just buying time. I think you've got an exciting opportunity to try and find repertoire that the orchestra will get on board with. I think traditionally People's Orchestra has always been closely associated with performing film music, and that's great, and it's a real strength of the orchestra. But I think it's been good over the last few years that we've also been able to explore certain areas of classical music, particularly classical music that's got a more tangible program and storyline behind it. For instance, we've done the March to the Scaffold from Symphonie Fantastique, and all the lucid dreams that Berlioz was having when he was obsessed with girls and under opium. Reminds me of being a teenager, really. But we've also done... I'm only kidding. We've also done... we've done The Sorcerer's Apprentice. Obviously, there's a great story behind that. And then we've also branched out into some of the American repertoire, such as American in Paris, Gershwin. So I think it's a good opportunity to use what film music is about, in that the music is very descriptive and colourful and telling a story, and finding another musical direction, perhaps through the classical repertoire, that also tells a story.
Do we know each other?
Do we know each other?
Ooh.
Yeah. Ooh. No. Rob and I, as it happens, haven't just met. We might look like we're really comfortable with each other, but we're not. We hated each other for years.
We did?
No, only kidding. So Rob and I used to play in a Bhangra band together.
We did.
We studied at music together, and we played in this Bhangra band, and travelled all over the country playing Sikh, Hindu and Muslim weddings, didn't we?
Yeah.
On trumpet and saxophone. I would say as well that when I was studying conducting at the Conservatoire, Rob played in quite a bit of quite a bit of the music that I was conducting at the time. So I think hopefully it's fair to say we challenged each other in that sense.
Okay.
How do you think we know each other?
We know each other from working through weddings. Yeah. We've also done a lot of work together with the Conservatoire outreach program, and we've done the odd function gig as well together. Dan formerly conducted, of course, essentially in a concert band, which I took the mantle of on a few years ago. So we do have connections that span a variety of histories.
Long may it continue. Have you got any particular things you're excited about doing with the People's Orchestra?
I'm excited by the eclectic mix of people that we clearly have, and I'm excited by a lot of the repertoire that they're choosing, and the fact that it's so much more than just a conductor gets on stage and the orchestra play music. It is a show. It's a performance, in its entirety, with a lighting rig and with projector displays behind. So I'm excited to see where we can push that, and to see what different themes we can promote over future concerts. I'm also quite excited to work closely with an orchestra with a sax section. That's not done very regularly. So I'm
Not
excited
ordinarily.
to see how that balances.
And also another nice thing about the orchestra is that whilst it looks like an orchestra, as you pointed out, there's a saxophone section, but also there's no restriction on the numbers of clarinets or flutes or whatever. In that sense, it's very, very open and inclusive, and you can use that to your own creativity, and perhaps work with some of the arrangers and look at how you're going to use all these extra flutes and things. There's lots of different options with how you can use the forces that are available.
Well, I know that there's already a string quartet that have kind of made themselves into a thing, so I'd be really excited to explore kind of more chambery music, be it brass ensemble or wind ensembles within the TPO setup. Anyway, lots of ideas. That's what's exciting. There's so many ideas and so much positivity behind. Yeah, let's do it. Let's make it happen. It's a ridiculous idea, but let's make it happen.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see.
But whatever ideas you have, you will have the support from the musicians, and from the support staff, and from the volunteers, and from Sarah.
Great.
So it works really, really well. It's a good relationship.
Good. Great.
Have you got any final words for the orchestra?
Me?
Yeah.
I'll be back. No. No, well, it's just, I want to reiterate that I'm so grateful that the orchestra's welcomed me as their conductor over the last few years, and I'm sure they'll do the same for you. And it's an ongoing relationship. It's not that I'm leaving. Hopefully we'll work together again, or we will do for this BCMG concert for sure. But everybody's been so welcoming, and I'd like you to pass my thanks on to them for those relationships that I've opened up and look forward to developing as the years go on.
Rob, have you got anything to say?
Nothing really, other than to repeat what I've already said. I'm really excited to be joining the orchestra and working with some wonderful people, doing some wonderful things and exploring some exciting new ideas. It's nice, as you said, that you can generate an idea and then have the impetus and the practical kind of workmanship behind it to accomplish that. I think that's what I'm excited about more than most places. You have an idea and then you just watch it sink into the dirt. The manpower isn't there to accomplish it. So I'm very much looking forward to that.
And I've always found it inspiring, and I've told Sarah a number of times that behind this orchestra there is a huge success and benefit to the local community with the Volunteer Back to Work programme. How many is it now? 250?
Yeah, nearly 300.
So nearly 300 volunteers have found work having volunteered with the orchestra.
You did.
And that's something that I'll always brag about with on your behalf. So well done. It's very humbling.